Hello and welcome to another video. Okay, now today we are going to be continuing the HTML course, and first of all let's go over here to this is where you're gonna find your projects that you're dealing with. So it opens like this, and here is the project. So these are some other projects that has been working on, so we're not gonna get into these right now. So what we're gonna cover right now is let's look at these buttons real quick. This button is to add a new file. So if you click it, you're gonna add a new file like this. Let's just see something.html, and it adds like this. It added inside this folder because I was selecting this folder. Let's delete this right now. Delete. So this adds a new file, and this button right here adds a new folder. So you can add a folder like this and put all your files inside of it. This is a refresh explorer. I'm not going to use this very frequently, so we don't need to go over it. And collapse folders and explorer, we're not going to use this anytime soon, so we don't need to go over this. So right now what we're going to be covering is HTML basic layout and some meta tags. So let's create an HTML file. But before we do that, I've actually went ahead and removed my previous VS Code folder, so we can have a new one, so you don't get confused and mix with the other folders. So now I'm gonna open a folder. It's called HTML codes that I've created in my desktop, and select it. And now we have a new folder, and yeah, so let's create an HTML file right now. Just click on the button new file, and let's call it index.html because the extension of the file is an HTML file. So that's pretty straightforward, and as you can see from the extension that I've showed you in the previous video, there is the little HTML5 icon. So after I created this, I called this index.html. Why did I call it index.html? And you should also call this index.html because when you host your website in a server, the server is gonna look for the HTML file that's called index.html. So, and that's gonna be your landing page. So you can have like other HTML files like an about one or a contacts one, but the landing page should be called index.html because when you host it on a server, the server is gonna look for the index.html one, and it's gonna display. So this is gonna be basically your landing page. Okay, now we have a empty HTML file, and let's get into some tags. Let's do this -10. And as you can see, it gives us all these suggestions of all these tags we're going to be using in the future. Let's go for a p tag. Okay, just hit this, and as you can see, automatically VS Code opens and closes the tag. This means open a p tag, and this means close the p tag. So as you can see, it adds a slash over here before the p. So whatever is inside here is gonna be a p tag. What is the p tag? The p element represents a paragraph. So whatever inside of here is gonna be a paragraph. So let's write something. Let's write hello YouTube. Let's hit save, and now we want to view this in a browser. So how can we do that? It's fairly easy. All we have to do is go over here, click the right button, and open with live server. As you can see, we have installed the live server extension over here. If you haven't, make sure to do it. It's just search over here live server. I've explained this in the previous video, and it's gonna pop up, and just go over it and install it. So let's hit back over here, click the right button, open with live server. Let's see if it shows our tag. And as you can see, here's our hello YouTube. It's been displayed. So yeah, now we know a paragraph, the p tag, what it does. So yeah, all right, now let's move on to a HTML basic layout, or what we also call a boilerplate. So it looks something like this. Now I don't want you to pay a lot of attention to this, because it's gonna be generated automatically, but yeah, so it's just a one-time thing. You don't really need to remember it. So we say doctype HTML, and it basically just says that this is an HTML tag, this is an HTML file. So we go HTML, and as you can see, VS Code opens and closes the tags for us. And the next tag that we're gonna write is we have the head and also the body. Those are the two elements that you need to be adding, so the VS Code is not screaming at you and telling you you don't have a head and a body element. So yeah, these are like the childs to this big HTML tag parent. So in the head we're going to be adding some links, and it's just going to be adding like background information about your website, and meta information. So it's just and the title as well. You can add links to CSS files, and just add background information about your website that is not going to get really displayed on your page. And the body is where we're gonna add the main content of the web page. So here we're just gonna add some meta tags. Okay, so we're just gonna say meta and hit tab, and as you can see, this is a bit weird. Meta tags are not like this body tag or this HTML tag. It doesn't have a closing tag or whatever. It's different. It's just meta. It just says meta. Okay, so this is a self-closing tag. We don't beat your head over it. It's you're not really gonna worry about it. What's meta tags, what are self-closing tags, what are non-self-closing tags. So VS Code kinda does it for us, and as you keep using them, you're gonna know which ones are self-closing, which ones are not. Okay, so what I'm gonna introduce you right now is to what we call attributes. So we're gonna add an attribute called character set. Okay, we're gonna set it equal to UTF weights. So what this says is basically just says add the normal characters to our website. So the normal characters that we're gonna be using, like A, B, C, D, E, F, and these crazy other elements, crazy other characters. So yeah, it's just a set of characters that is in the UTF-8. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So now you get the idea that meta tags are just information about your website, and doesn't really get displayed. So the second tag that we're gonna be using is also a meta tag, and we're gonna have an attribute called name, and we're gonna say viewports. Let me get this right. Viewport. Yeah, this is right. And we're also gonna have another attribute called content. Don't worry about this too much, because this is just gonna get generated automatically when you need it. Device. No, this is actually not right. Width equals to device width, and comma initial scale equals to 1.0. Yeah, so what this says basically is just a couple of years ago there wasn't any mobile devices for websites. So now we have mobile devices for websites, and this basically just says the width of the page should be the device width, and yeah, and the initial scale should be 1, so you don't have like big or big characters or small characters. It's the initial scale is just 1. So yeah, you don't need to remember this. It's just something that gets generated automatically. And now we're gonna add let's add the title. Now this is an opening and closing tag, and this is gonna be the title of your website. Let's add the name of the channel. Okay, alright, so I think there's a lot of other meta tags that you can add to your website, and other links. You can change the icon of your website, and some other stuff, but we don't need to get into all of them. These are the most important ones. Let's just hit save and see. Let's see if we added the title to our website. As you can see right now, the title of our website is Dev Squad. So yeah, this is the basic layout, or the boilerplate for the HTML file, HTML page. So let me just get rid of this, and this is a cool shortcut so you can generate this boilerplate automatically. Just hit this exclamation mark and hit enter or tab, and as you can see, it automatically generates a boilerplate for you, so you don't have to write it each time. This is the boring stuff that you need to learn to know before you get started. I promise you we're gonna move on to the fun stuff next time. So yeah, just tune in for the next video where we're gonna talk about other HTML elements and build a little cool websites for you. So yeah, tune in, and thank you for watching.